ask you a question. What if your greatest love story is the one you write with yourself? Hmm. In a world that often tells us we're not enough, too much, too loud, too soft, too anything, it's time to come home to the truth. You are worthy right now. If you're tired of chasing validation and ready to start a deep, daily romance with your own soul, today's episode is your love letter. And we've got the perfect coach to guide us through it. Coach Glendon is a transformational life coach, motivational speaker, and a fierce advocate for radical self love. With her heart centered coaching style, she helps people rewrite their inner dialogue, set empowering boundaries, and tap into daily rituals that cultivate deep, lasting self worth. Her mission? To help you love yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Kate Glendon. Hi, Kate. How are
Hi,
you?
good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
So great to be here.
That's awesome. Yeah, your video actually on Relationship Coaching Live got like 14,000 views.
It's so important. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes. So you are an advocate of self love, which is, I am also an advocate of self love. How do you define self love in practical, everyday terms?
That's a really good question because self-love gets thrown around so much. And like, what does it really mean? So for me, it's about showing up for yourself consistently. How do you speak to yourself when you're alone? Um, it's the choices that you make, how you're honoring your needs, your energy, giving yourself grace when you're falling short, celebrating your wins, and taking responsibility for your growth and learning that it's about, progress over perfection.
That's right. Celebrate the small wins. I'm a big advocate of that, because sometimes, and we talked about that in an earlier segment. Sometimes we're like, we want to achieve so much, and like, it's just one step at a time, right?
Yes, one step at a time. And we have to realize that it's okay to slow down.
Absolutely. Why do you think so many people struggle with loving themselves?
I think it's really hard to know that, they're worth actually loving themselves. They're worthy of it. They're so
Mm,
used to people pleasing others and getting other people to love them that they're not willing or wanting or knowing how to take the action to rest and take the time to nourish their souls. So self-care gets thrown out the window, and then the self-love of honoring themselves is, not there as well. And they go hand in hand, self-care and self-love.
absolutely. So, what's the difference between self love and self care?
So self-care is the action that you take, um, such as taking rest, going for a walk, reading, what you're feeding yourself. Where self-love is all about your mindset. What are you telling yourself? Are you being kind to your mind? Are you not putting yourself down? Are you putting yourself down? And without self-love, self-care can feel like a task. So with self-love, it becomes a way of honoring your well-being. They both support each other, but you can take all the action that you want, but without the self-love, the mindset, it's, you're just going to be taking action and not really rewiring your brain to actually make the change of self-love.
Absolutely. So, is self love something that we're born with, or do we learn it? How does that work?
We're all born with love and loving ourselves, but we forget along the way.
Mm,
And that's just due to life experiences, the pressure we feel from work, from society. Maybe we've had trauma. But the thing is, at any point in our life, we can decide that we want to love ourselves again, no matter what has happened. We can rebuild that trust in ourselves. We can take a moment to learn and get the help that we need to do that. We just have to make that commitment to ourselves.
that's right. That's so important, right? And to remind ourselves daily that we need to practice self love and self care, because sometimes we forget, we get trapped in this world, right? And what we're doing rather than who we are being.
Absolutely. And so when you stop or you get out of the ritual of doing self-care daily, then, your mindset can go back to its original habitual way of thinking.
Yes. And how can someone begin building self love if they've never felt it?
That's it's how do you want to feel? Like, what would it feel like for you to feel that self love, and starting with promises to yourself, building onto a habit that you're already doing. So maybe it's after you brush your teeth, what do you want to think about? What do you want to journal about? How do you want to show up for the day? How do you want to feel today? Do you want to say no to someone, setting boundaries, building quiet moments, even just sitting and being with your feelings for 60 seconds or 30 seconds, just to start small. It doesn't have to be this 4-hour ritual. It could be starting at 30 seconds of just some deep breathing as you get up in the morning and before you go to bed.
And so that's amazing advice. What are like 3 daily practices you recommend for building that self-love?
That's a really good question as well. It's just morning affirmations, looking into your own eyes and repeating things that mean things to you. So having
Mhm.
an affirmation is proven to work if it has a meaning, a why to you. Showing up as your future self, repeating that.
Mm,
A morning check-in. What do you need today? Maybe you're really tired and you need a nap. Maybe you are okay with just showing up for 80%. And then
mhm.
a gratitude list. What are some things that went well today? There has to be at least, 1 to 3 things that you feel that you did well. Because when we are thinking of everything, of our successes, our gratitude, we're creating more abundance in our lives. And, we're automatically looking at our days and being like, yes, good things did happen today, despite what my mind might have told me.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. So how can we reframe negative self-talk when it shows up? We did talk about this with other guests. And so what is your advice on that, on reframing that, those intrusive negative thoughts?
Yeah. So we have to realize that our first thought is not maybe always real, and to just realize it's just a thought and not to judge it. And then, like, is this thought helpful? What is this thought really help, doing? Is it true? Is it going to help me advance further? Is there any evidence behind it? Is there a why? Is there a deeper feeling behind it? Um, do I feel guilty about something? And then reframing it into something that's more positive. If you feeling like I'm a failure or I didn't do my best job, changing into something like I'm learning from this mistake. So there is value. There is no mistake here. I know how to show up better tomorrow, or I learned something that maybe I need to prioritize better for tomorrow. So it takes out the negative connotation that there's something wrong with you, or you're not your full best.
Mhm.
And it's starting to reframe your mind so that you're seeing that not everything that didn't go as your expectation
Mhm.
is not something that's negative. So pretty soon that you can rewire your brain and then kind of dust it off your shoulder and move past it and not get so stuck in that moment.
Absolutely. So what role actually does gratitude play in self-love?
It shifts our focus from what we don't have, what we're lacking in our life, to feeling full and abundant. When we start to notice, that we have strength and we have a lot in our life and we're building resiliency, we're growing, it becomes a lot easier to appreciate what we do have. And it focuses a lot on not blaming everything and thinking about what we don't have. And when we think about what we don't have a lot, it creates a negative mindset. So the gratitude quiets that inner critic, that inner negative voice, and starts for us to think about self acceptance and self love.
Absolutely. As a comic, when I first started, I had that self-critic while I was
Mhm.
performing on the stage, and I'll be like, "Shut up, go
Yeah,
away." Yeah,
it's
not
that
right now.
we have a noisy roommate in our head and we have to control it. And by, telling it positive things, it will slow down, it will go away.
Absolutely. Just a producer note, can you bring your face like the way it's here? Yeah, because then when I cut the shorts, it's easier for
Yeah.
me to do that. Thank you. So, there's a lot of talk about like positive affirmations and all of that. How do affirmations actually work? Do they really actually help?
They do. But it has to mean something for you. You can't just pick an affirmation that your friend has, someone else has. It has to do with ones that you believed are aligned. So I'm learning to trust myself. I want to love myself more. I'm showing up confident and capable every day. And you repeat them regularly and writing them down. So it becomes to become part of the way that you're thinking and you're showing up as that affirmation.
Yes, and we there's a lot of talk about boundaries, just when I went to therapy it was all about the boundaries. And so how does setting boundaries support our self-love journey?
Because you are aligning yourself with what you feel good in and feel like you want to do. You value yourself enough to say no to things and say yes to what you want to, so that you're not pouring for an empty cup. So we're showing up with intention. We're showing up for ourselves. We're showing up, without that people pleasing, with self-respect and action and telling the world what we want.
Hmm. And let's talk about relationships, because self-love and relationships. What's the connection between self-love and the relationships that we attract?
Hmm. So if you are not loving yourself, it's going to be very hard to attract someone that loves themselves as well, right? When you love yourself enough, you're looking for someone that also has that full abundance and is not having that negative
Mhm.
mindset. So attracts mindset. So, putting out their intentions of what you want to attract, knowing that when you're looking for relationships, you want someone that's going to rise and bring you up, not someone that's going to also affect your mindset, because now you're going to be, bombarded doubly by someone else's mindset.
Absolutely. And when I was younger, I used to do a lot of people pleasing. And do you think that's people pleasing is a form of self abandonment in a way?
Yes, because you're totally going against what you feel to make someone else happy. So you're not worried about your self-worth, what you want, your boundaries. You're just worried about what everyone else wants. And so how is that going to help you feel self-loved or how are you going to like yourself if you're saying yes to things that you don't want to do? It's just going to make you feel worse and affect your mindset.
Absolutely. The power of saying no.
Yeah, say no to things that make you feel not good inside. When your stomach says yes, say yes to things.
Mhm.
If it's automatically like nope, then you need to listen to your intentions and your gut. It's really true, because then you're going to go there and you're going to wonder, why you said yes, and then you're going to be upset with yourself. And when that happens, you're not being aligned with yourself.
Absolutely. So, how do we stop tying our self worth to external validation?
Realizing that once you love yourself, all this other stuff is just, fluff. So, you
Hmm.
know, realizing what you like about yourself, what you want, what you like in life. And it
Yeah,
may not be what you used to like, and that's okay, because you were liking things because other people like them. So find out what you like and what you enjoy, spend time alone with that, sit and pause and wonder about that, rather than, you know, doing things that you're just so habitually used to doing because that's what you thought that you were supposed to do.
so what's one way that you recommend to stop comparing ourselves to others?
Realize that a lot of times you're only hearing about highlights of people's lives, whether it's on social media or what they're telling you. You're not inside their mind, their battlegrounds, right? We don't know everyone's backstory. We don't know what happens at home. So we have to realize that everyone else's life is at a different chapter than ours.
Yeah,
And when we realize that like our chapter has so many good parts of it and we stop focusing on that one bad page, people want our lives, but we don't know that because we're so focused on looking at everyone else. We don't know what they did to get there or what's in their future. We may not want that.
absolutely. Especially we were talking earlier, like when you scroll through TikTok or look at Instagram or whatever, and you compare to other people, especially Instagram. TikTok is more real, but Instagram, I think it affects your mind in a negative way to compare yourself to other people. So how can we learn to go through Instagram or Facebook or whatever for the older people and not compare ourselves to what they're presenting is their ideal life?
Because they're only showing you what they want you to see, right? Like, if they're not showing you in their pajamas passed out on the couch watching TV, right? They're just showing you, like,
Right.
this is my perfect photo. I looked really nice and now I want a lot of likes or comments because I want to feel good about myself because I need a self-esteem boost.
Totally, absolutely. Like sometimes, like I have light makeup, I have like a filter on the video here. Filter, like it just smooths, it just makes you look better. But people are like, "Oh, you look so good." I'm like, "Girl, listen, I have makeup, I have lighting, and I have it's like a little filter." And so I think people need to start being a little bit more honest with themselves also, because it can also alter the perception that you have of yourself when you do all these filters and these good things that make you look good. Then you look in the mirror and you're like, not so good.
Yeah. People know, like, it's pretty obvious. That's a filter. That's,
Yeah,
I mean, that's not what you look like in real life. And that's
yeah,
fine. Like you want to put that out there and you want to show people that. But I think as us as viewers, I think we just need to look at it like that's like it's just entertaining. It's just TV. It's just a Netflix
yes,
show of
yes,
commercials and not get so hung up on that because not ever, you don't know when that picture was actually taken. People may not be actually out
exactly.
doing things right now, right? This picture could be from 2 months ago and they just decided they were bored on their couch. Not everyone's out doing things and you're not missing out on anything.
Right, the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Yeah, like you don't know what it took to get that perfect picture, right? It could have been super stressful and now, everyone was fighting.
I know it's but as you get older, I think you grow into like what you like to do and not care about other people, what they're doing, right? um
Yeah, so they say.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, it does. It does. Don't let my filter fool you. No, I'm kidding. Actually, it
Where's
doesn't
my
filter.
filter?
Actually, it doesn't filter that much. It just makes the makeup look more like one color instead of like, for here it was one color, for there it's like it makes it look
Yeah.
more. The makeup looks better. Yeah, no, I should have taught you how to do it but you look fabulous. Don't worry about it. So what inner child work or shadow work do we recommend for like deeper self-love?
Write a letter to yourself, like as your younger child, what do you want to forgive? What do you want to tell it? What do you
Mhm.
wish you knew now? Let that person know it's okay. Like they did the best that they could with the experience they were in, right?
Yeah.
Whatever happened, whoever, raised them or whatever they did, like it's not their fault. A lot of the times, they just want to be loved and they need to hear that now. And when we can heal our inner child, we can start to love ourselves again. Because a
Mhm.
lot of the times we're so upset or angry or anxious, it's because our inner child still needs a love that it never got. So what is it
Yes.
that that inner child needs? What is it? How far back in your memories can you go? And what does that person need to know right now? So,
Yeah.
a letter to them, a journal, writing up all your feelings. And, this is a deep, deep work. So, expect a lot to come out.
Absolutely. Um, so you think that self-love can actually attract more abundance, more joy, or more peace?
Yeah, I sure do. I mean, it definitely did for me. When you're able to be at peace with yourself, you're able to go through life more content, more happy. You're not so irritated by the little things. And when you're in aligned with your own self, you attract more things. If you believe in manifestation or, when you are thinking things just happen easily and flow because you're aligned with what you are thinking, what you're believing, what you want in life. And you're not, you know, jig-jagging through people pleasing and boundaries, yes or no. You know exactly what you want and you're getting it because you're going after what you want. There's no
Yes.
confusion.
Yes. Confusion is not a friend.
Yeah, you love yourself enough to know better and to know what you need.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. So how do you know when your self-love is starting to shift your life?
You start waking up, feeling grateful. Your morning routine or your night routine becomes habitual. You start to know little shifts and, when things that used to upset you, you're able to kind of work through them, find out the why. Your affirmations start to feel real. It's just little things like that. You're just a little bit happier. Like think about, a timer just kind of ticks up a little bit and you start to see that people even notice it, like you glow a little bit,
Yeah.
because you actually like yourself for the first time, and you're actually spending time on yourself and understanding that, you're not spending time worried about other people or focusing on things and failures or things that you don't like. And you're saying no and yes to things that feel good.
Yes. So, how does self love impact how we show up in the world?
When we love ourselves, it's just life is just a little bit easier. When we are, at war with our mind, everything is just hard and exhausting and tired. And so when we can show up with love, we are able to help others and be kind to
Mhm.
each other. And I think that's really
Yes.
important. And I'm not saying self-love and self-care is easy. It is a long road that we have to work on every day, and you have to be committed, and
Yes.
it takes time. But if you can just practice a couple minutes each day, you can definitely
Mhm.
see a shift over time. And, it's a commitment because we want everyone to love themselves. You don't want to go around, being at war with yourself and realizing how much time you lost.
Mhm. Absolutely. So, how can someone stay consistent even when they're not feeling it?
Do it for 30 seconds and then try again later. It doesn't have, keep trying, go for a walk, do something different. Like self-love can look like in so many different frameworks, like calling a friend, reading, watching TV, like doing something where you're not putting yourself down and you're being kind for yourself and understanding like it's not easy sometimes, and saying, today is a tougher day than normal and that's okay, but I'm going to still show up and do one thing that's good for myself. And maybe it's something off your task list, or maybe it's something else that you need to do, but just allowing that grace instead of putting yourself down for not
Mhm.
doing something, right? There's that mindset shift.
Absolutely. So, how do you help clients as a coach who feel undeserving of like love or success?
It's going to like their why, and how do they want to feel? How do they want to, change their mindset, and understanding that they are worth something, and starting really with the affirmations, setting them up a routine. And so through that, we're able to kind of work on self-love, rituals, mindset sh- mindset shift, so that they start thinking more positively.
Uh-huh.
Because when you start thinking more positively, the love comes, because everyone's deserving of love despite the
Hmm.
circumstances. So getting to what things have happened to them in their past that are causing them to think that they're not worthy. And so we have to go back a little bit and thinking about what their future self would want to feel like.
Absolutely. So, what do you say to someone who feels selfish for focusing on themselves?
You're not selfish. You're doing exactly what you should be doing to be the best version of yourself. And so quiet the mind, don't listen to others, because you're worth it.
Absolutely. Yes. So, what's one mantra or truth you wish everyone could carry in their heart every day?
That you are deserving of love and you're capable of doing everything that you are meant to in your minds to do. Your dreams are there. Um, but you have to believe it. Take the time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Coach Glendon, for lighting us up with the truth that loving ourselves is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. You've
Yes.
given us tools, reminders, and the permission we didn't know we needed to start treating ourselves like the love of our lives. And to learn more or work with Coach Glendon or start your self love journey, connect with her at glendoncoaching.com. And remember that the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with you. So make it loving, make it kind, and make it daily. Thank you so much, Coach Glendon. You are amazing and you answer all the questions beautifully. And we appreciate you being here. And guys, follow her on Instagram. You're on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yep.
And it's Glendon Coaching on everything, right?
Kay Glendon _ coaching. Yep.
Okay,
It's on my
great.
website.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Are you tired of breakups leaving you feeling like a soggy tissue? Well, darling, it's time to shake things up. I'm Grace Fraga, certified relationship coach by IAP, And I've got the ultimate cure for your post-breakup blues. Introducing Love at First X, a humorous guide that takes the sting out of a heartbreak and turns it into your best comeback story. From crying on your pillow to dancing in the kitchen, this book is your sassy, laugh-out-loud companion. But wait, it gets better. I've created exclusive bundle packages at the State of Grace shop, designed to give you the TLC you deserve. Get everything from one-on-one coaching with yours truly to personalized breakup recovery tools. Let's face it, honey, we're turning your breakup into a glow-up. So whether you're crying over an ex or ready to move on like a boss, I've got your back. You can laugh, learn, and level up with my coaching and my book. Because, let's be real, breakups are just a detour on the road to fabulous. Visit www.thestateofgraceshop.com to get your bundle today. Let's flip the script on breakups together.